Welcome to my very first retro gaming video. Well, I guess it technically isn't the first older game that I featured on this channel. There was Jak 3, and then there was Bully, of course. But this is the first time that I actually get to use my PlayStation 2 that I got for my birthday when I was 12 years old. Yes, you heard right. And for the recording of this content, I'm using an actual PlayStation 2 to HDMI converter. Anyways, I bought this game from Mercari, and I am super excited to give it a try because I did play this game way back in the day on PlayStation 2. And I haven't even opened up the package yet, and I'm actually going to be unboxing what I got in the mail from this app. And when I bought it, I made sure that I got one with a booklet, and I was actually very surprised. I only paid like $12 for it. And I was surprised at how good shape the booklet was compared to like the photos that I've seen. So I don't know how this is gonna look, but we are going to unbox it now. So again, I have not opened this yet, so pretty bang up job there. Alrighty. Okay. There it is. It actually, wow, I'm actually really surprised at how the condition of it. It looks looks brand new. Like, I mean, whoever sold this to me, wow, I'm actually kind of impressed. It looks really good. I see a couple indents there, but it's not that bad. So, yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with reading all that, but let's take a look at the booklet. Again, it looks very good. Yeah, this looks like it's very good condition, considering how old the game is. I'm very surprised. Oh, it looks like an advertisement for an X-Men Legends game, which they don't have these anymore. Advertisements, I mean, in booklets. Well, they don't even have booklets anymore. Anyways, let's take a look at the inside real quick. Wow. I'm really impressed at how, like, it doesn't look like it's been handled too much. It looks pretty good condition, so I'm pretty impressed. Yeah, so the standard black and white, because, you know, they couldn't swing for color, I guess. But yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, well, I'm actually very surprised. Let's take a quick look at the back of the disc. There's a couple. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm having a hard time seeing. Actually, no. There's a couple scuffs on it, but it looks like it's pretty good condition. So, and then yeah, one way you can actually tell, if you did not know this, how you can tell this is the original case is the little memory card slot, because if it was like it put in another case, it wouldn't have that. So but yeah, I'm gonna be popping this baby in. But yeah, so let's get right into the video. Let me take you back, June 28th, 2004. to a time where movie tie-in games were kind of just starting, and they didn't actually suck as bad as they do later on. Let me take you back to a time where the graphics were revolutionary, but compared to today's standards, they're terrible. Let me take you back to a time where they didn't have profanity checkers on profile names. Let's check out Spider-Man 2, released on June 28th, 2004 for the PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox, Microsoft Windows, and Game Boy Advanced. I'm not really sure how that last one worked, but upon doing a little more research, it's nothing like the game that I'm showing you now. It's more of a side-scroller beat-em-up with the same name. Gotta love Game Boy Advanced. Spider-Man 2 is the Spider-Man game that paved the way for 2018's Marvel Spider-Man as far as the swinging mechanic. This game is a movie tie-in, but I would consider it to be tied in loosely to the original Spider-Man 2 starring Tobey Maguire. For this game, they only got 3 people from the movie to play their respective parts. Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, Kirsten Dunst returns as Mary Jane, and Alfred Molina returns as Dr. Octavius. And there's also Bruce Campbell returning as the narrator, or the tour guide if that's what you want to call him. Bruce Campbell was the original tour guide from the first movie adaptation game. And he's also had some cameos in the movie, as you can tell by this screenshot. But the first thing that I want to mention as I jump back into this game after all these years are the cons, and really the only con that I can actually think of is the voice acting.
You interfere with me at that old woman's peril.
No! Oh man, the voice acting. Now, I love the OG Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. That's something that I grew up with in the early 2000s, but this game sounds like Tobey Maguire just simply did not want to do it. His line delivery, just listen for yourself.
This is my story. It's the usual thing. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy meets another girl. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I know what I want to do, I know who I want to be, and I know who I want to be with. I want to be with you.
Peter, I'm getting married to John. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Peter. Good night.
That should do it. Wait a second. The reactor. The energy field is super concentrating. I think I'm in trouble. Why didn't that work? I switched everything off just like last time. It just isn't fair.
I'll tell you it's not fair, having to listen to this crap. I mean, I can't blame everything on just Tobey Maguire's performance because it's all bad. I mean, I'm on here on YouTube and I script everything and I reread everything, and sometimes I might go off script occasionally, like this line right here, but I can at least deliver stuff and make it sound decent at least. Next, like I always do in these reviews, let's talk about the graphics.
Lather, rinse, repeat.
I don't really have much to say about this. I can't really complain too much because this game came out in 2004. For the time, this game was right up there with GTA San Andreas. I always go back to that game because it was so good at the time. But this was the very first Spider-Man game where your character had to be low enough to actually web on a structure to actually web through the city. Other Spider-Man games just magically webbed to the sky and Spider-Man just swung through the city that way. This was also the first Spider-Man game to introduce free roam around New York City. You can actually walk around the ground on this game. Before, there was no Spider-Man games that would allow this due to technical limitations. So for the time, the graphics were the best it could have been. There even was a day-night cycle, not really sure how long it lasted, but they had one. There were a couple glitches that I did encounter, like this one. I was swinging through the city and next thing I know, I'm glitching through a wall. I wasn't sure how I was gonna get out, so I saved the game just in case I had to restart the game. And oh yeah, for all you youngins watching my channel, there was no autosave, so if the power went out before you saved it, you had to start from the last time you did save the game, just throwing that out there. But I saved my progress and eventually did get myself out without having to restart. But there was also this really funny moment where I returned this little kid's balloon, and yeah, that's a side mission, but I got his balloon back to him and the string of the balloon was actually comically long and the balloon was stuck in the air, but I completed the mission. And the little kid still looked sad. It was funny and weird at the same time. This was also a time where the glitches actually made the game more fun. It wasn't completely broken with this. Now let's talk about the gameplay.
Try to hang on to it.
Say thank you. Yay, balloon!
The gameplay loop isn't that repetitive, just depends on what you actually do. The game is kind of short, so it's not really a big deal. What makes this game really repetitive are the street crimes that you have to stop in between the chapters. This game is divided into 17 chapters, but the 15th chapter is pretty much the final story chapter. The other two are just unlocking secrets that you might have missed while playing through the story and doing challenges, stuff like that. Most of the story missions actually do a pretty good job at varying things up. For the street crimes, there are actually two types of crimes you can stop. People will call on Spider-Man and they give him these little side missions to stop a crime that they may have seen happening or whatever. And then there's also these crimes that happen in the game's real time, like a purse snatching or a bunch of thugs street fighting or a break-in to building, you know, stuff like that. And oh, there's also this kid that lost his balloon, which I kind of explained earlier, and you have to get it back for him. Now, for this one, I don't really know what's more annoying, Roman asking Nico to go bowling with him or this little kid crying about his balloon.
Glad you showed up, Webhead.
Happy to help.
My balloon!
Like, honestly, I'm trying to stop other crimes here and my world can't completely come at a halt just because this kid lost his balloon for the 100th time. There's also a little Easter egg and a little nod to this in the 2018's Marvel Spider-Man game with one of these backpacks that you collect in the game. It's pretty cool.
All I did was save this kid's balloon from floating away and he made me this. It's the little things that make it all worth it.
I guess this Easter egg does make it worth it. It is pretty cool. Now moving on to a different topic, there's also upgrades that you can buy with your hero points. These upgrades are for different combos that you can use and swing speed, and I think there's even a health upgrade too. So just the typical 2000s upgrade fashion. Now let's talk about the story of the game.
With great power comes great responsibility. There's only one Spider-Man.
I'd say that this is the part of the video that has spoilers, but the game is just about 20 years old now, so I'm sure you know what happens, and if not in the game, at least with the movie. For the most part, this game does follow the main plot of the movie, but there was a lot of drama from the movie that was dumbed down for 3-year-olds. To make the game longer than the movie, for obvious reasons, they've added in different villains and a character that does not appear in the movie. But starting this off, it always seems like Peter Parker is always late, and that consists of most of the missions that are not on the to-do list of the game. Just call this a Peter Parker is late simulator. That's actually mostly like the movie anyways, but by the end of chapter 3 you actually meet Black Cat, and believe it or not, she's not a lesbian in this game, probably because this game was made by Treyarch and not Insomniac. Almost like back then, they wanted to put together a decent story and not indoctrinate you with semi-ugly characters that now look like the writers instead of who they used to look like in an effort to boost their own self-image. Anyways, you can cut the boner tension with a knife.
You always chase girls who brush you off?
No, only the naughty ones. I have standards after all.
His voice acting could be better, but by chapter 4 you get your first boss battle with Rhino. The fight was easy and a nice change of pace besides just beating up bad guys. You can only damage Rhino when he's dizzy, so once you dodge all of his attacks, you can just hit him a few times and rinse and repeat. Moving on to chapter 6, you'll see a little bit more of Black Cat. You'll do her second tailing mission, which, if you're unfamiliar, tailing missions in this era suck big donkey balls. And no, I'm not talking about the gourmet Hawaiian dessert. But these missions actually aren't that bad. And for chapter 7, you are introduced to the next villain of the game, Mysterio. This is another really cool switch up from the normal gameplay loop. Mysterio basically wants to prove that he's better than Spider-Man, I guess, so he puts you through these challenges. First, you have to collect more inmates than Mysterio and then violently throw them where these green markers are lit up. Then you have this platforming section that you have to get through without being seen by Mysterio. It's pretty cool. This was fun and a little challenging because I am more used to the controls of 2018's Spider-Man, but I liked this mission. After this, in the next chapter, you learn that Mary Jane is in a relationship, and then Black Cat pops in to cheer him up, and they should really just bang already. I guess this is supposed to show some sort of a love triangle arc, I guess, that Mary Jane is unaware of. But in the next chapter, chapter 9, Mysterio returns with another pretty fun mission. You have to save 6 reporters by webbing them and putting them on another ledge so that they can escape. It was a good mission variation. And this chapter is a 2-parter because immediately after this mission, you have to swing up to the Statue of Liberty using these things that Mysterio put up there by a means of a way to get up there. There is no swimming in this game, so if you fall in the water, it will respawn you at shore. Even though this was a good mission variety, it was still super annoying trying to swing all the way up there and destroy these orb things so that you can destroy the final brain thing. If you take too long after the orbs were destroyed to get to the brain, then the orbs would just respawn. I made that mistake. But anyways, you defeat the orbs and the brain and you save the city. And again, within the very same chapter, because I guess this is actually a 3-part chapter, not a 2-part chapter, and you have to go to Mysterio's funhouse. Another interesting mission, just very annoying. You had to go around battling these distorted versions of yourself that would climb out of a funhouse mirror like something out of a horror movie. And after you're done with all this, again, Mysterio seems to escape now for the second time, and there's another pause put on the Mysterio stuff. For chapter 10, you finally see Dr. Octavius go evil after his wife Rosie was killed due to his own machine, which for some reason he blames Spider-Man, like just every evil villain. But this happened loosely like the movie, just with no dramatic stuff. Chapter 11 recreates the bank heist that Doc Ock pulls off in the movie, complete with the kidnapping of Peter's aunt, and in the game there's this infamously boring line that he says,
"You interfere with me at that old woman's peril."
No! I guess he didn't really care too much about his aunt, but he did get her back, so win-win. Did I mention the whiplash she probably suffered? But moving on, for Chapter 12, you get your first boss battle team up with Black Cat. You meet Shocker the first time of the game, and once the mission is over, Shocker escapes, of course. Something tells me that won't be the last time we see the Shocker. Chapter 13 finally shows the end of Mysterio. He decides to rob a convenience store for some reason, and Spider-Man stops him with one punch. Then there goes this weird arc where the Daily Bugle keeps writing bad stories about Spider-Man and turning the public against him for like 3.5 seconds, but Black Cat of course stops him from doing something stupid by giving him a nice little pep talk, I guess, and you get thrown into another tailing mission where you have to follow Black Cat to where Shocker is located. So this is another Shocker chapter. But I find the whole city turning against him very strange because it seemed like everyone was real cool with Spider-Man up until this very second. This mission was the last one with the Shocker, and you have to basically avoid him until Black Cat finds a button to shut off his shield, and then you have to press the button that is opposite of her. When his shield is down, you just gotta beat the snot out of him, but watch out for his radius blast. When you see him glowing like this, just run for the hills. So for the final chapter of the game, to kind of sum up the story, it's very similar to what is in the movie. Doc Ock captures Spider-Man, Harry finds out Peter is Spider-Man, then Peter goes after Doc Ock, and then Mary Jane finds out that Peter is Spider-Man, and then Doc Ock finds out Peter is Spider-Man. All the same crap. It's just a lot less dramatic, I guess you can say, and the movies were so much better. But once you beat the game, what do you do next? So let's talk about the replayability.
Who wants some of this?
Okay, leave it to me.
After you beat the story, I guess there isn't really, quote, replayability, but it does have continuous play is what we should call it. After you complete the game, there are still 2 more chapters. One is where you have to get 50,000 hero points, and the 17th chapter, just, I guess, do whatever you want. There are these challenges that you can play. I didn't really bother messing with them, but if you restart the game, you'll probably lose all your upgrades and stuff. That is the one sucky thing about games in 2004. There was no New Game Plus like there is now, so there's that. But this game I do highly recommend if you want to dust off your old PS2 and pop this baby in. I've always wondered if this game is going to come to PS Plus. That would be really, really cool. But anyways, I think it's time for what you've all been waiting for. The rating. I give this game, drumroll please. That was a long drum roll. 7 little boy balloons that you pop. Here, sit this way. There you go. Oh, wait, don't get up yet. Hang on. Are you ready, bud? You ready? Hey, bud. And go. Okay, you drove like 10 of them out. Here, let's try one. Again, just do one. Here, let me shuffle it up for you. Good. One. You did it. You did it. Aha. We got We Happy Few. That will be, I think I have that on PlayStation 4. So I've played it yet. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Cool. We Happy Few. Say We Happy Few. He hasn't started that yet.